Let's be real for a second. One of the most confusing things in dating is trying to work out whether he is just being nice, just being social, or whether there is something much stronger happening under the surface. Because attraction rarely walks in and introduces itself. It shows up in glances, in pauses, in tiny changes of energy that are easy to miss if you do not know what you are looking at. And once you do know, you cannot unsee it. That is what makes this so powerful. Because men often think they are hiding it well. They think they are staying cool, staying normal, staying unreadable. But the body almost always leaks the truth before words ever do. So in this video, we are breaking down the signs that tell you he is not just interested, he is deeply pulled in. Some of these signs are quiet. Some are bold. Some happen so fast, you will miss them if you blink. But together they paint a very clear picture. Watch closely, because one of these signs alone may not mean much, but when several start showing up at once, the message becomes hard to deny. And trust me, the later signs are the ones most people overlook, even though they reveal the most. The first place attraction shows up is in the eyes, because eyes are terrible liars. A man can choose careful words. He can act relaxed. He can pretend he is unaffected. But if he is strongly drawn to you, his eyes usually give him away long before his mouth does. Casual eye contact is quick. It helps a conversation move. It checks in, then moves on. But when his gaze lands on you and stays there just a little longer than normal, that is different. That tiny extra beat matters. It creates tension. It creates awareness. It says without saying a single word that his attention is not accidental. And when a man is really attracted, it is rarely a one-time thing. His eyes keep finding you again. In a room full of people, they return to you. In a group conversation, they check your face for a reaction. Even when he tries to look elsewhere, something keeps pulling his focus back. That is the part many people miss. Attraction is not always loud. Sometimes it is just repeated attention that keeps circling back to the same person. Stay with me here, because the next detail is even more telling. If his eyes move from your eyes to your lips while you are talking, that is not random. It is often a silent signal of desire. He may not even realize he is doing it. But the brain tends to drift toward what it wants. And when that glance happens more than once, it usually means there is a deeper level of pull underneath the conversation. Now watch what happens when he gets caught. This is where things become very revealing. If you suddenly meet his gaze and he looks away fast, almost like he touched a hot surface, that can be a strong sign he has been staring longer than he meant to. He does not want the moment to expose him. On the other hand, if he holds eye contact and stays in that tension instead of escaping it, that tells you something too. It shows more confidence, maybe even boldness. Both reactions can point to the same truth. The difference is whether he feels brave enough to let that attraction sit in the open. There is also the intensity of the look itself. When someone is drawn to you, their eyes can seem more focused, more open, almost heavier with attention. You may not be measuring anything, but you feel it. The look does not feel casual. It feels warm. It feels loaded. And then there is the scan. This one is subtle, but once you notice it, you will see it everywhere. If his eyes do not stay only on your face, but occasionally travel down and then back up again, that usually means his brain is taking in your physical presence in a way that goes beyond friendly conversation. He may try to hide it. He may do it quickly, but repeated scanning is rarely the behavior of someone who feels nothing. And perhaps the strongest part of all is the energy behind the gaze. You can feel when someone is looking at you because they are being polite, and you can feel when someone is looking at you because they simply do not want to stop. Another huge sign is the way he handles distance, because attraction usually hates space. Human beings protect personal space for a reason. We keep boundaries with people we feel neutral about. But when a man is pulled toward you, he often starts closing that gap without even thinking about it. He leans in a little more when you speak. He stands a little closer than necessary. He chooses the seat beside you instead of the one across from you. If you are walking together, he drifts near enough that your arms might brush. And in group settings, even if everyone else is shifting around, he somehow keeps ending up near you. That is not always planned. Sometimes it is just instinct taking the lead. Attraction creates a quiet hunger for closeness. It wants less distance, not more. And this does not only show up in obvious moments like dates, it shows up in small social moments too. He finds reasons to pass by you. He lingers after everyone else moves. He stays in your orbit longer than he needs to. Here is what most people miss. Proximity changes atmosphere. When a man is really drawn to you, getting close does not feel neutral. His voice gets softer. The moment starts to feel more private, even in a busy room. It is like the air shifts, and if he is testing the waters physically, those touches are often light at first. A brush on the arm, a playful nudge, fingers that linger 1 second too long when handing you something, tiny gestures, easy to dismiss, but repeated enough they tell a story. Because touch is one of the oldest ways attraction tries to become real. Pay attention not just to whether he touches you, but to what happens right after. This part matters. If he lightly touches your arm during a joke or while making a point, then pauses for a split second as if checking your response, that is often him testing the connection. He wants to know if the touch lands well. He wants to know if you welcome it, ignore it, or pull back from it. That tiny pause is full of information. If you respond warmly, he may get bolder over time. If you stay cold, he may retreat and become more careful. Attraction often moves like this. It does not always charge ahead. Sometimes it experiments. And the reason this matters is simple. Men do not usually create repeated, lingering touch with everyone. They may be kind to many people. They may be social with many people. But that specific kind of touch, the kind that feels just a little more intentional than necessary, is usually reserved for someone who is affecting them on a deeper level. This also becomes very obvious in crowded spaces. An attracted man does not simply stand near you because there is no room. He tends to hover in a way that makes you feel his presence. His body turns toward yours. His feet point your way. His shoulders angle toward you even if the rest of the conversation is happening elsewhere. That body orientation is powerful because it reveals where his attention truly lives. And if he is not bold enough to touch, proximity alone can still say plenty. If he keeps finding reasons to be near, keeps sitting close, keeps shortening the space between you when other options exist, that is not random. That is attraction slowly making itself visible. Then there is body language, and this is where things become even harder to fake. Words can be managed, expressions can be controlled for a few seconds, but posture, positioning, and movement often tell the truth before the conscious mind has time to edit it. When a man is strongly attracted, his body tends to open toward you. He does not sit folded in. He does not angle away. He points himself at you. Torso, shoulders, feet, all of it starts aligning in your direction. Even in a group, you may notice that while everyone else turns here and there, his body keeps coming back to face you. That is important because the body naturally orients toward what it values. You may also notice mirroring. This one is easy to miss, but it is powerful. You lean in and moments later he leans in. You cross your legs and after a short delay, he shifts too. You pick up your drink and then he does. This is not always conscious. It is often an instinctive way of creating rhythm and connection. The body is quietly saying, we are in sync. And when that happens repeatedly, it often points to strong interest. Another thing attraction does is change posture. A man who likes you may stand taller around you. His shoulders pull back. His chest opens. He starts taking up space in a way that feels a little more confident, a little more present. Even men who usually slouch can straighten without realizing it when someone they want walks into the room. It is a natural urge to appear stronger, calmer, more attractive. In simple terms, his body starts trying to make a better first impression, even if the two of you have already met 10 times. You can see the same truth in smaller gestures too. Attraction often creates nervous energy, and nervous energy needs somewhere to go. That is why a man who is drawn to you may adjust his shirt, fix his watch, touch his hair, rub his hands together, or fidget with whatever is nearby. These are not always signs of weakness. Many times they are signs of activation. His system is awake. He wants to do well. He wants to look right. He wants to hold your attention. And sometimes the opposite happens at the same time. Alongside the nervous adjustments, he may become bigger in his movement. His hands become more expressive. His gestures widen. He becomes more animated when he talks. Why? Because attraction is not only anxiety. It is also excitement. It makes people want to stand out. It makes them want to be felt. So if you see both, the slight fidgeting and the extra energy, do not ignore it. One shows that you affect him. The other shows that he wants to affect you back. And watch his face in those moments. A quick eyebrow raise when you say something playful, a smile that hangs on too long, a brief lip bite, a flash of surprise mixed with admiration. These micro reactions happen fast, but they reveal a lot because they are rarely rehearsed. They slip out before control returns. This is why attraction can feel so visible even when nothing direct has been said. The body keeps leaking truth through posture, through rhythm, through those tiny expressions that appear and vanish in a second. If you notice enough of them together, the picture becomes very clear. Now let's talk about voice, because attraction is not only something you see, very often you hear it. A man's voice can shift around the person he is drawn to, sometimes in ways so subtle he would never notice them himself. He may lower it slightly, speaking in a deeper and steadier tone, as if trying to sound more grounded, more confident, more masculine. Or he may become brighter, quicker, more energetic, like his words suddenly have extra charge behind them. Both can mean the same thing. Your presence changes his natural rhythm. One common sign is softness. When a man is attracted, he sometimes lowers his volume when talking to you, even if the room is loud enough that he does not need to. The conversation begins to feel more private, more close, more intentional. He leans in and his voice follows him there. That small change can create a lot of tension because it turns ordinary talk into something that feels personal. But some men go the other direction. They become more playful, more expressive, more eager to entertain. They tell longer stories. They joke more. They exaggerate details. They try harder to make you laugh. That is not always because they are naturally loud. Sometimes it is because attraction makes people want to leave an impression. It says, stay with me, keep watching me, keep feeling this. And if you compare how he sounds with you to how he sounds with everyone else, the difference often becomes obvious. He may be flat and casual with others, then suddenly warm, charged, and alive when he speaks to you. That contrast is one of the cleanest signals there is. Listen closely to pacing too, because attraction can disturb a man's normal speech pattern in interesting ways. Sometimes he starts speaking faster. His sentences run ahead of him. He laughs too quickly. He stumbles over a phrase and corrects himself. This often happens when desire meets nerves. His mind is moving fast because he cares how he comes across. Other times he slows down. He chooses words more carefully. He pauses in a way that makes every sentence feel heavier, more meaningful. Either shift can tell you the same thing. Your presence is affecting his system. You are not getting the neutral version of him. You are getting the version that is activated by attraction. And teasing is another big clue. When a man likes you, his tone often becomes more playful. He throws in light jokes, little challenges, witty comments, not to mock you, but to create spark. It is a way of testing chemistry without saying anything too direct. He is checking whether the energy bounces back. He wants to see if you meet him there. And then there is silence, which people often overlook. A man who feels something strong may leave little pauses in the conversation. He holds eye contact. He does not rush to fill every gap. For a second, there is just that stillness between you and it feels charged. Those pauses matter because they often reveal that he is balancing connection and caution at the same time. He wants more, but he does not want to expose too much too soon. So the moment hangs there. And if you have ever felt that strange electric quiet with someone, you already know how powerful it can be. Do not skip this sign. Quiet can reveal just as much as words. Laughter is another dead giveaway, especially when it becomes more generous around you than around anyone else. Attraction has a funny way of turning ordinary moments into something brighter. A man who is drawn to you often laughs faster, louder, and more freely in your presence. Even comments that are only mildly amusing seem to get a bigger reaction from him. It is not fake, it is energy. He feels lighter around you, more charged, more open, and that excitement comes out through laughter. This becomes even more revealing in groups. If several people are talking, who is he really responding to? Whose jokes land hardest with him? Whose reaction does he check after something funny is said? If his attention keeps circling back to you, that matters. Attraction does not just notice, it prioritizes. In a world full of distractions, it gives special weight to one person. So if he keeps watching for your reaction, keeps replying to your comments first, keeps making little side remarks meant especially for you, that is not an accident. His focus has already chosen a favorite place to land. And this is where many people get confused. They think attraction must look dramatic to be real. It does not. Sometimes it is just someone whose whole presence sharpens when you enter the room. The jokes become quicker. The smile becomes easier. The listening becomes deeper. The attention becomes selective. That selectiveness is important because friendly energy is often broad. It spreads everywhere. Attraction becomes narrow. It zooms in. It filters the room and keeps returning to one face, one voice, one reaction. When you feel that happening again and again, there is usually a reason, and if you are still watching, the next signs make that reason even harder to deny. One sign that deserves more attention is how much he remembers. A man who is genuinely attracted may hold on to small details you mentioned casually and bring them back later in a way that surprises you. You talk once about your favorite snack, a place you want to visit, a stressful meeting, or a random story from childhood, and days later, he remembers it. Not just the big things, the tiny things. Why does that matter? Because attention follows attraction and memory often follows attention. When someone matters to us, our brain tags details about them as important. So if he keeps remembering little facts about you, asking follow-up questions, or bringing back things you forgot you even said, that can be a strong sign that he is not just making conversation. He is mentally collecting pieces of you. Another clue is effort. Does he make excuses to keep the conversation going? Does he add one more question when the chat could have ended? Does he send the extra message, the extra joke, the extra check-in that keeps the thread alive? Attraction often stretches moments. It does not want the interaction to end when it naturally could. It looks for another doorway, another reason, another small opening to stay connected. And watch how fast he notices changes in you. A new outfit, a different hairstyle, a subtle mood shift, a drop in your energy. Men are not always famous for catching details. So when one notices yours quickly and often, it usually means you are taking up real space in his mind. This is especially telling when he notices emotional shifts, not just visual ones. If he picks up that you are quieter than usual, more tired, more distant, and asks about it, that attention can reveal a deeper kind of attraction, one that is not only physical, but emotional too. You may also see attraction show up as protective or caring behavior, and this can be very subtle at first. He may guide you through a crowded place with a light hand near your back. He may check that you got home safely without making a big speech about it. He may move closer when something feels uncomfortable or notice when you need water, a seat, a jacket, a break from the crowd. These actions do not always mean romance on their own, but when they are paired with the other signs, they become very meaningful. Because attraction often creates a natural desire to care, not to control, not to perform, just to look out for you. And there is a difference. Genuine care feels quiet and attentive. It feels like he is tuned in. Another sign is how he reacts when other men are around you. This does not mean unhealthy jealousy or dramatic behavior. But if his energy changes, if he becomes more alert, more engaged, or slightly more eager to hold your attention when someone else enters the picture, that can reveal that he values your focus more than he is admitting. Attraction hates competition even when it pretends not to. You may also notice that he starts improving his appearance around you. He fixes his shirt, checks his breath, stands straighter, grooms himself more carefully, or seems more polished than usual when he knows he will see you.